So, we are going. Let's start a poll. What are we doing today? I'm going to be either mixing, going to be doing some DJing, I don't know, philosophizing, philosopherization. Yeah, that works. It's spelled all kinds of wrong. And then, what else can we do? Yelling at clouds. All right, so in the meantime, while we're waiting for the results of this, and I want to see like a good 5-6 way tie on this motherfucker. You know, I mean, I want some fighting in there. I want, like, no, you motherfucker, look here. You know, that shit in the comments section, like we always do. You guys do your normal shit. It's Friday. You know what to do. You fucking savages. So let's start the poll. What are we doing today? Mixing, DJing, philosopherization, or yelling at clouds? Becoming the very thing. Oh, it even collapsed right in time. Perfect. Becoming the thing that you hate. I just was watching a little bit of Christopher Titus, and the title of his video was Deport Jake Tapper. And apparently Jake Tapper's got a book coming out, and yada, yada, yada. But this is the perfect opportunity for them to say, yeah, you're no better than us. Especially talking about it. I even joking at it. Even talking about silencing him in any kind of way. I mean, you can say you're disappointed. That's fine. But, like, I mean, actually going that far, because you know how they do. 86, 45, 47. Get rid of 47, and they're saying it's a fucking death threat. Kathy Griffin had a mask of Donald Trump and put ketchup on there and held a knife. She's a comedian. Apparently her life hasn't been the same since, because he had control of the FBI and shit, and had her fucking put on no-fly list. So, I mean, how's she gonna fucking travel to do her work? I guess by bus. It's just spiteful shit, you know what I mean? You talk bad about the fat-ass, phony God King. The bronze tenor fucking bitch. Yeah, talk shit about them, but don't become them. Don't ever fucking start talking like them, acting like them. Be better. In that sense, yeah, take the high road. I'm not saying that you don't have to I mean, if you have questions about the election, it's understandable, because Kamala was pulling in record numbers. She's overly qualified for the job. Trump had done all the shit he had done and lost in the last one. You know what I mean? Elon, you know what I mean? It just joins in at the last minute, dropping like $250 million on him. It's just a lot of weird shit, you know? And then he just starts fucking rummaging through the goddamn treasury. And everyone's just like, okay, sure. The police didn't even show up. The police should have been like, what the fuck? I don't care. I don't care. Dude. I don't fucking care. Get on the fucking ground. Click. President's gonna have to identify your fucking body. Get on the ground. Your money will not prevent you from being fucking shot by my fucking gun. You have no business in this area. Any of us in that area just walking around go, no, I've got a mandate. Blow! Fuck you. We got a terrorist or some kind of shit just rummaging through the goddamn files. No, you got an armed guy out front, or at least standing out front, posting guard and not letting people that are authorized in because unauthorized people are inside and the police don't show up. Something's going on. Oh, right, nobody called. Right. No, she called. Like they had a stand down order or something. I don't know. I mean, maybe Project Enough Rope already knew that was their plan. They've been watching them since they launched Project 2025. It's an existential threat to America itself. Destroying the Constitution. By executive order, no less. Firing judges. And trying to impeach judges. One branch attacking another branch. Saying basically, if you don't side with me, you're with the deep state and you're corrupt. And half of the country is so naive or so invested in that orange piece of shit that they have to agree with him. If they disagree with anything he says, they just have to disagree with the whole thing. I mean, that's their whole mentality, if you watch, about other people. That's how they work, so they think that's how everybody else works. No, you can't let a gay guy marry a gay guy because then next thing you know, a guy's going to want to marry his horse. Oh, that's already out there. But I really don't think they're going to be clamoring to the front of the line to be like, look, when me and Seabiscuit, what we do ain't none of your business. And it's like it kind of has become now. Because we actually have laws against, like, you know, Secretariat then. No, it's not any better, guy. And that wasn't the change you think it was. So, either way, it's still not better. I mean, how can you jump to that conclusion from there? Seriously, if you let a human live with a human, well, what's next? A human and a bird? No. Well, then what's next? What do you mean, what's next, dude? Oh, you're still on the fucking paranoid fear. It's always... You're always losing something. What if my kid turns gay? They didn't turn gay, they are gay. No, it's the woke culture. It's not a woke culture that make you like, oh man. And since you put it that way, could you put it that way? No, that's not how it fucking goes, man. You're right. CRT is a fucking, you know what I mean? What the fuck do you think is happening? I was going to say I'd like to get inside a Republican's brain, like a Republican voter, but I wouldn't want to do that. But I would like to project it on the wall of what they think is happening. I heard people laughing on that. I want to project what they think is happening over top of what's actually happening. Like you can actually see it in real time. Like their fear when a black person walks in the room and like, I'm not racist, he just doesn't, he's in a tuxedo, man. What? You know what I mean? What? I mean, he could be, a spy or something? What the fuck do you think is going on? What? He could be here to fuck our daughters. What the fuck? Are you what? Oh my god, dude. It doesn't matter that he has a date? No? Okay, yeah, alright. I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. You might need like just a whole brain reset, really. Is it even worth it though at this point? If you could, would you? Nah. It's just not worth it. You know, it's like finding out like there's a way to like salvage the Yugo. You know what I mean? Anybody know the Yugo? Fuck. The Geo Metro? The Gremlin? Soon the Cybertruck? But is it worth it? So much time has passed and it's so bad. Oh, I hear you. Now I can get 50 miles a gallon. But do you still want to be driving a goddamn Gremlin? Wayne's World is a different thing. That's different, though. That's different. You don't see me driving around a Mystery Machine. Or wearing a kerchief around my neck. So, that's different. Ascot, thank you, whatever the fuck it's called. Why don't you ask Scott? Hey, maybe he's busy. Maybe he doesn't want to be bothered. Caught for your ass? What's going on? Cottage cheese face? I don't know. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 4-way tie. No fucking clue what the fuck's going on. It's utter pandemonium and chaos in the fucking comment section. I just saw a guy get pinned. Some dude jumped off the third rope. Oh. Maybe that was just something tuning in. I don't know. Is he hitting the keys? I don't know. I hit the keys so long ago. I mean, I'd have to unhit the keys to hit the keys now. You know what I mean? I feel bad. I still scream. But at the push, it doesn't feel the same. So, I think I'm going to DJ some shit, man. Wrap it up with the easy thing to do is become a hypocrite. Because it's so easy to excuse yourself because that's different. You needed it. You know, there's an excuse. There was a time of crisis. It was, you know what I mean? There's all these fucking excuses. There wasn't time. And that's why your shit will always fucking come up later on with a conspiracy theory. That people go, well, maybe they shouldn't have been, you know what I mean? Maybe that's the person. You gotta let it. You gotta enough rope it, and it takes it's the longest one. But no one can say shit to you when you do what you do. Everyone knows the rules. Everyone knows the rules. Yes, they got away with it for a bit. That wasn't because you're right. It was because wanted to show what you do when you thought no one was looking, when you thought there were no checks and balances, when you thought you were safe, when you thought you could just do whatever you wanted to do. Executive order, go away. Tariff, sure. It's Congress's power, but sure, go ahead. Oh, because the American Army will never answer to you. 50% of the people will never, ever answer to you. And a growing number of people are getting sick of you. Because your stuff is stupid. It's not coming. You're not doing none of the shit you promised. 24 hours in the Iraq war. I mean the fucking war, and then you're like, we're working on it. I have concepts of an end to the Iraq War. It's been an Iraq War for so fucking long. And he did end it, so. With Joe Biden, no. Trump planned it to end on that day. In Biden's term. It was arranged by Trump. It's a poison pill. So it'd fuck up. Make him look bad. Thomas Jefferson did a, not Thomas Jefferson, John Adams did a similar thing to Jefferson. I think it was them too. But, yeah. So, how do you not be a hypocrite? Well, it's almost impossible to not be a hypocrite. The best you can do is watch for it. And when someone goes, what about? Don't say that's different. Go, fuck. Yeah. So I'm stopping that. Yeah, you're right. That's true. That's true. I shouldn't go to fucking protest a fucking abortion and have an omelet. So I'm no longer having omelets before I go to protest an abortion. I get I'm still eating cows and shit. We gotta work on one thing at a time. But at the same time, like I said, if you're killing plants, who are you to say they don't feel anything? That's the problem, is that when we're looking for life out there, we're looking out for life that we would understand. That has a brain that we understand. Okay, that's its brain. What if it thinks through its tentacles? Each tentacle has its own fucking computing process. A little processor in there. Who knows, man? I mean, as long as you're only looking for life in the structure that we know it, you're never going to find anything else. Ice will never be alive or conscious. The sun. It's just a star. Okay, sure. What fuels it? We don't really fucking know. Why isn't it burned out? I don't know, but it's going to stop. Why? Entropy. Oh, you mean your fires go out, so therefore that fire's going to go out. Yeah, no. No. You didn't put them out there, you don't decide their lifespan. No. You didn't put the moon out there, you don't decide. You didn't put the seas, you don't decide. All you did was wake up, put on some pants, and fall in the fucking suit of someone who was walking before you. All the way up to Donald Trump. Even his plan, there's nothing new under the sun. His plan's the same old fucking Hitler type play. You got old RFK on eugenics. But the good thing is, I mean, it's not like it was. And that's the problem, is Trump can't get over that. He's still trying to flush documents down the toilet. Probably because he can't find a shredder anywhere. This is Trump out. I got shredders everywhere. This would be so easy. You had to flush like 20, 30 times. What the fuck are you talking about? What kind of fucking massive dumps do you mean? This is the guy that fucking goes out there and calls everybody low IQ. This is a dumb individual. This is a such and such. He gets called a fucking chicken. the reporter was just asking what his reports to what his response to those things. It's not like she made up the name. And he doesn't get that. What a nasty question. I just want to know what your response to that. If you're just finding out about that, then you are not really on top of things. Or your people are not telling you things. This has been out for a while. By the time they got to that, I'd long heard that. And the president hadn't heard it's been called a taco trade. Someone's not cutting him in, or they don't want to upset the baby. Or he doesn't have any friends. A real friend would be like, hey, man, I thought you should know. I didn't want you going on the internet and seeing, like, I know you freak out about shit like that. I didn't want that to be the first thing you see. I have this kid who's really good at computer. Yeah, he turns it on so fast. He's so fast with the computer. And I sit in the car, and it's all computer. I love Tesla. I bet you anything he knows it's Tesla. He did that on purpose to humiliate Elon. Because I bet you Elon gave him that fucked up haircut. One thing is he loves is that little stupid hair that he has. By cutting it off, it makes his fucking mugshot worthless. He's not going to grow that back. He's fucking 79. The best he can hope for is to buy a wig to replace it. And that everybody buys that at 79 years old, the comb over grew back. The comb over look. As I said, he walked out. How do I look? All fucking... He knows exactly how the fuck he looked by that face he had. How do I look? Oh, March. March. Let me count the ways. I've got it by heart by now. Fucking coffee house wages. He just needs an apron, really. That's all he needed in the picture was just a fucking apron and a catcher's mitt. Fuck, man. If I'm right, man, at least the insanity is going away soon. And that's cool. That's cool. That's an interesting thought I just had. We haven't seen the Noisome Beast yet, but I have an idea what it is. Stay inside the city. For without are idolaters, whoremongers, those that make a lie. So if you make it, just stay in the city. Just got a little bit of sense of adventure. A lot of sense of adventure. Otherwise, you'll die and you'll be right back in the city within 30 minutes or so, probably. Outside the city's fucked up, but you're safe inside that city. The even more fucked up thing is that the people that would want to be there who want to go. Yeah, that's exactly why you don't go. Because that's not righteous either. This is clean up on aisle 6. Time to go to work. We got 1,000 years. But, yeah, man, I went by the dispensary today. I got some pre-rolls. I got some sugar, hash wax. Pardon me. It's a lot like the other stuff, but I've learned this is a puck. My cousin, he's just like fucking almost Rain Man when it comes to this shit. It's like, you know, he show him something. Oh yeah, that's the such and such. You know what I mean? And he goes through. It's like, God damn, how do you not work at a dispensary, dude? Because he knows about growing and shit. And as we were sitting there hanging out at his place the other day, and I'm trying to get my KIND and stuff like that, and I've always wanted to get like a not necessarily a cannabis shop, but like a head shop. You know what I mean? And you can have like the stuff for your growing. Try to keep it as low as possible so people can do their home grows and stuff. Try and find like a cheap home mushroom grow kit stuff. You know what I mean? And like that, you can grow morels up here. And there's morels that are growing out there. So there's all kinds of mushrooms you can grow. We wouldn't sell any of the stuff that goes in it, but if you have the stuff that goes in it, we got the mushroom grow kit and all that stuff. And if we buy enough of it, we can have it cheap. And like the glass and stuff like that, all the glass needed. And, just do like 18 and over. And that way it's not really being regulated aside from making sure you check ID. That's all you got to really do, and make sure that there's no like broken glasses causing whatever. So just like in the morning, just clean them out real quick. Just kind of dust them, make sure that like nothing fragmented or anything. Unfortunately, this world's fucked up. So find like a way to put it out and display. I would probably find some like cases that open up, and then just fucking close the cases, lock them up, and take them and put them in like a safe at night and shit. Or take them with me. And they have like the boxes in a storage place, and so as you need to replace the stock, just bring those in. So you just only need a small area. So if I get KIND up and running, it'd be cool to have like a secondary that's like the glass shop, and just have him over there, like he's running. It could be called glass houses, something like that, and fertilizer, glass work for whatever lights. And if we don't have it, we can order it, Yeah, that'd be like a side revenue. So as far as getting like KIND, you have to take it from any artist. I'm written my own book. I'm working on like the other 3. I haven't started writing yet, but I'm feeling that as it starts to get cold again, I'm probably one thing I can say that I do is I have to drink decaf, and there's a company up here that makes a Michigan cherry coffee. And the whole time I was writing my first novel, I drank like that, like almost exclusive, like that, and would mix with a Verona, and it was just a nice mood because it's like it's a really really good flavor, like a chocolatey cherry flavor, and just really good. And just sit back and do that, and then I have like different types of I have indica and sativa, because sativa gets me kind of more up, and so if I want to write like a more adventurous. You know what I mean? And then I'll be a bit more alert. And then if I feel like, okay, indica, so like it needs to slow down a little bit. Dig into the meat of this a little bit. Right. And just keep doing that. I'll write for about 4 hours at a time. I could do more, but I mean, I never want to push myself too much. And then like I just used to pick up from where I left off, and so even if it doesn't make sense or something like that, when I come back later, I can blend it all together. But I just have to like read and reread and reread and reread. That's what I did with The Robber and the Thief until I worked out like the plot holes and misspellings. I got almost all of them, but because some words are strictly Unaic, the things to kind of slip because they underline in red. I have been adding some to the basically the Unaic dictionary, so that I don't have to keep selling them to whatever, like Christerian and Shuna, things like that. Things that are repeated a lot, like the Talbot, the Dwarven King with the Unbreakable Axe, Chembra. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on next, the Underwoods. And I'd like to go stay in the woods for at least 2 days. Let me go out Friday, come back Sunday, I don't want to be a burden on anybody. So if I could find somewhere that I could do that even here, and even like rent a cabin or something like that. I got a bike today. That's dope, man. It's just it's so dope. I hadn't ridden in a while, and I'm 48, and so it's like and I didn't know how to adjust the seat because I didn't know it was a quick. The last time I had a bike, I didn't have anything fancy enough to have a quick release. You had to adjust it. So when I sit on it, I'm like, okay, it's a bit hot. I can adjust it when I get home. But I was sitting on it to like get a feel of it, and she's like, it's kind of quick. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I didn't know that, and I jumped off, and I'm like, and I flipped the little thing and adjusted to the. I'm like, sat on it again. Like, yeah, that's perfect. I'm ready to take it and go home. Because I'm sitting on it, I can tell it's going to be a great bike. It's a sturdy frame, but it's not heavy, and all the pieces are solid. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. It's like a 21 speed. It's gonna be awesome. It can do off road. It can do, it's not too off road that it's not gonna be good for downtown. But if I need to like jump off into fucking whatever, not a problem. And like, can you ride it? I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, you can test ride it. And I was going to be like, no. And then my mom's kind of like, yeah, good. Yeah, like, I don't have a car to take it home. So I was like, and I started riding down. And you got to get used to every bike. You got to get like where the brakes are. Does it have the regular brakes on top of that? And it didn't. But my old one did. So I go to do it. And of course, it's not there. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Brakes are here. You know what I mean? And having to get used to that shit. And then I do try to go pedal, but it's like super like loose. I'm like, oh, shit, the chain. And I forget this, And so it's been fucking 5-6 years since I rode my bike. My bike is like, it's got a different kind of, it's like a more of a mountain bike type thing. And, yeah, I dig it. I dig my bike a lot. The only thing I don't like is it's red. I wish it was black, or even the just strip the red off of it, and it's just that chrome underneath. That'd be a lot better. I just hate that red. But even a matte black would be dope. Yeah. But that one's been out there so long it rusted. The seat was not really all that comfortable. I've got a big ass, and so I've got another seat that will. I've already got another seat. Very comfortable. Got the memory foam type shit. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, I'm good to go. And they're like, I was like, I got this good thing. I got the seat. And they're like, oh, I think that's a good seat. And oh, it's a good seat, but and like they're just talking amongst themselves about how good the seat is and shit. I'm like, I like my mom. I'm like, I've got memory foam in my seat. And I was like touching on it and like, no. Got a big ass. It's gonna be like sitting right. It's gonna be. I put it up against like this morning. I was like, oh yeah. Another little thing. My cheeks are flipping over, man. So yeah, dude. Steve-O. Listen to some music, man. I've got some more. I got an album to do. Not an album to do. I've got some albums I've downloaded. Got regular songs, just flat songs. But that's mostly acoustic versions of those. That's not that bad. Seeds and Weeds is not. All Over the End is not. Nothing Like the Sun is. Soft as Sunlight. 22, the full album. I don't know if I played that. That's called 22. For multiple reasons. It was released on April 22nd, which 4 is 2 and 2. Everyone in our first band was born on the 22nd of a different month. I was born on the 22nd. Our guitar player was born on the 22nd, and our drummer was born on the 22nd of different months. And he was born on April 22nd. So it's 2, which makes 4, 22. And his birthday was the same day as his mom's birthday. My birthday is 2 days away from my mom's birthday. Like I was on the 22nd, she's on the 24th. And then our bass player joined, and he was on the 11th, which is half of 22. It was just crazy. So like 22 is always like taking a thing. That's why we tried Zygote and stuff like that. I tend to stick around, especially with those guys. I tend to stick around. Something around that, because it seems like our birthdays just seem to be like lining up. You know what I mean? It was crazy. It's one of the first things we'd ask people after a while. It's like, when's your birthday? Yeah, it's not gonna work out. 17th. Yeah, God, I wish it could work out. You haven't heard me play. We got a thing going here. We're doing something here. I could do. No, you can't. Can you be born 5 days later? You can't do what we're doing. You have to be born with it. I can try. Get on that time travel, man. If you wanted such 5 days just to audition to be our bass player, we're not even like a big band. What the fuck are you doing? I want to do it too. I want to be part of it. So yeah. Let's go ahead and listen to music. I'm learning to shut the fuck up. It's taken me a while, but I'm getting it. careless faded means to an end. It's such a shame to only meet you now and again. Sorry about that. Okay, so what we had there was three songs. The first song was Sábado Negro, Black Sabbath, Black Saturday. Then there was Careless Again. That was the first time I know of any two songs sharing one video. You know, so I thought I'd just do one video and then whatever. There's a whole reason, like it's 22, like the 22 with the whatever. But then there's also, I released this album on 4/22, which was Opie's birthday. I didn't even realize it until, I mean, because we had a falling out before he passed, and so I normally would be like, it's my brother's birthday, but since we fell out, I really haven't really worried about it. But I started releasing this. I was like, oh shit, I'm releasing it. I'm just go ahead and dedicate it out to him. He died kind of a shitty way to die, and he and I didn't end on good terms. But I miss the dude that he was when he was cool, when we were younger. Before he took off on his little drugs trip. I miss that dude a lot, man, because that dude, like me and that dude, would have done anything for each other, and it's like actually having a brother. There's nothing I've actually wanted, even though I have a brother. This is like actually having a brother. So, or what I envision having a brother being like. So, Sábado Negro, Careless Again. Those two shared a song. I shared a video, and then Burn to the Ground was the next one. Those, like I said, the first two shared a video. Burn to the Ground has its own video. I Cannot Be has a video. Same Difference as a video. Brick by Brick has a video. I don't know if anyone else has. There's some kind of like distortions and shit on like what could it be, but it's not actually a video. And the reason why is because there's 16 songs on the album and there's 6 videos total. Like I said, I cheated by making that one video for the 2 songs. And it was the same footage. Like I had some really nice outdoor footage and shit, and I was filming it through like my through the HD camera. And I was going through the grass but I was like sitting there just like kind of slinking it along like it was whatever, and I'd come across like the daffodil, whatever those fucking things, wildflower things are, the yellow ones. And I'd try and focus on them, right? And then when I went back through them, I was realizing if I did that because it's like, have you seen my head? And if it was on like a quest for him, and every time it comes across one of those, that's when it turns to negative color, that's when he gets fucked up. The person and the main character of the thing gets high. It's supposed to represent all the drugs I've ever done in my life, and it's just a tweak of perception of reality, and that was fucking like 13 years ago that I had that. And so yeah. No, I might have been 13, but I know I was like at least, no, I've been out here for 11 years, and that was at the other house. So it could have been 13 years ago. At least. Anyways, the video for Believe, that was dope because I'd gotten some Halloween costumes on sale. Because, like those Halloween stores. It was after, I'm high. It was after Halloween, and they're just trying to get the shit out the door. And so I grabbed a bunch of just the masks that you see in there. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I mean, I could be that for Halloween, or I could use it for a video. I could do whatever. And so just, loosely throwing together an idea for the video, I filmed it all in one day with the mask and the costumes and shit. My ex was in, costume and shit. And it was interesting because the day started out snowing. So I looked at the window and it was snowing. And then the snow just completely melted away, completely gone. And so I filmed that, so it was gone there. And that same day, it started snowing completely and colored it over again. So I had all 3 shots that I needed to show time passing and elapsing. It was fucking perfect. I mean, because we got away and there was just nothing on the ground. It was amazing. I think the sun I don't know if the sun was actually out, but it definitely didn't look as dreary. And so it's like, and it's like the hands on the window, and it's really cool because it's cold outside, so it's like the ghost, it's a really good shot, and it's it's all improv, and you're just flying with what's going there. I highly recommend it. Just looking at nature, that bird that's in the tree, I just filmed him, And what I did was I was trying to make the bird change color in Premiere. So I froze it when I had a good HD shot of him, and I used a sampler of what color I wanted to invert. And so I grabbed the color on his wings, and it just changed all the leaves, left him alone. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want to fucking do. I just want. If I cut it here and here, all right, now it's the same effect on here. Let's invert the color again. Ooh. Okay, what if I adjust this and okay, now it's blue and yellow. Okay. So now I got to just separate them so that it seems like the bird and like the way he acts to it. It's almost like if you look, it's almost like he sees the color change. It's really cool. Because it starts at one color and he's just kind of like looking around, like looking behind, and then when it changes, he like looks back at the birds and then he comes back. I mean, it's really cool. Not intentional at all. Just like when on Belief, I have this lava lamp and it was on the side. And so I was fading, it's green, but it's fading going side to side and stuff. But I zoomed in on it, so it's over the whole screen. And there's this glob that's coming from the bottom, and it's like a little bit, and this big one that's dripping down from the bottom, from the top. And of course it's like this, but it looks like it's this. And he's like, but right then Mike's like, on the guitar. Totally didn't mean to do it at all. It's the way the video and the audio lined up. I'm like, well, that's not going nowhere. That is sitting right there. It's so perfectly timed. I'm like, I did not do that. I didn't like line them up at all. I just put the music on and just like let them play. And I was like, okay, so rush shit. So I'm cutting it somewhere after that. All right, so we got 3 more songs, and then I'll come annoy people again some more. This one is I Cannot Be, followed by Bad Blood and Better, in case it doesn't say at the bottom. So on we go. I did say earlier that I want to be the Willy Wonka of drugs. stink in my mouth. There's too much bad taste, so get it out. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Here we go, start it up again. Yeah, I wanna be the empty scene. Yeah, I wanna be in the in-between. Oh yeah, don't nobody talk to me, man. I got self-esteem and everything is burning. There's wishy-washy in my brain. The chemicals I'm gonna leave a permanent stain. With just one hit I can do you in. Oh no, here we go again. Yeah, I wanna be the part you scream. Yeah, I wanna be in the dark you dream. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make myself a nothing more and nothing less than anything else that isn't burning. There's too much garbage in my mouth. There's too much bad blood to spit it out. Someone is gonna have to tell the next again. 'Cause here we go, stick it in again. Yeah, I want the smell right off your lips. Yeah, I'll be the one who lets it slip. Oh yeah, don't nobody talk to me, man. I got someone else's steam. Everything is burning, burning, pretty burning. Everything is burning, burning, pretty burning. Everything is burning, burning, pretty burning. Burning, pretty burning. Isn't it better just falling down and out? Keep it together just long enough to turn All right, so those jumped in a little bit quicker than I was expecting, and so I didn't get a chance to interject with my stupidity. And I did get a chance to get really fucking high, though. So that's cool. We started with I Cannot Be, and then it was Bad Blood. Then it was Better. Then it was Hapless Sap, and I was like, I'm going to jump in after this one because it has that, yeah. All right, so that's going to be a good place to jump in. And then Same Difference started up. Got us back in the ball. Like, oh, no. Oh, no. The thing is with the sugar, once it starts going, it's going, and you don't really want to waste it, like by going and just letting it just into nothing, man. This is some good shit. Holy fuck. All right, so we're at Same Difference. Okay, so up next is Silver Queen. Basically about my hatred of money. I mean, I don't know. I like people to get their own meanings out of shit. So I try not to explain too much, but yeah. So, Timeless is Time Undone. What could it be? I might jump in then. If not, it goes into Brick by Brick. It'll be another actual video. So, fuck, I was gonna say something, but who cares now, man? Let's do this. Touches what I mean. Can you give me Silver Queen on the outside into me? Can you give me Silver Queen? Jenny, never was my thing. Shut your mouth and I'll be your everything. Out of time is just a thing. Can you give me Silver Queen? Out of touch what you mean. Can you give me? Can you give me? Out of touch with everything. Can you give me Silver Queen? Out of time is just a thing. Give me silver queen. All right, apologies. I remember what I was going to say. The pharmacy called today, and they like, hey, we got your hydroxyzine. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what it was. I was like, all right, I'll be down to pick it up. And so I went down there. I walked down there and I picked it up. Well, before I left, I looked it up what it was. It's like an antihistamine. It can cause like drowsiness and not sedation, but if you're up like upset stomach, it can calm that. I didn't know what it was for. I'm like, whatever, and I kept reading, and it's talking about how it can cause hallucinations and other stuff. And I was like, okay. Whatever. I still don't know why I had this, and when I got it, I was saying what's up to Brian, who works down there. I said, what's up, Brian? And he's like, he says he kind of knows what's going on, but he's like, how you been? I'm like, oh man, better worse. I'm gonna start ketamine therapy on Monday. And the other package is like, oh yeah, that's what it says here. Take 1 hour before therapy. And I was like, oh, that's what it's for then. Okay, cool. And then okay, that makes sense. The hallucination doesn't make sense. Oh, maybe like if it's an anesthetic, you know what I mean? If you like close your eyes, you may have like almost like dreaming type, you know what I mean? That kind of shit. Hey, recommended it. I might take like a half, I don't really get all that super nauseous. And when I was tripping mushrooms, I had if I didn't throw up, I didn't get high enough. It just didn't really do much. So I just, like I said, we get to these like big old glasses of this purple ass liquid in those supersized McDonald's cups, full, and just drink that whole shit. And then, however much you puke up is however much you puke up is how much your body couldn't handle. Rather nice of your body to do that, rather than just die on you. Hey man, we can't process any more of this. Get this fuck out of here. Okay. Yeah, good. Now watch this shit. This is what you did to us. Oh no. Oh boy. Why do you guys always start moving now? You guys are never alive when I'm in here, like just sober. And I'm afraid to step on you. But that tripped me out because in Unia, the drug that they use is actually a combination of two drugs. There's one that they do that's this impanil mushroom, and it causes a state of oblivion that they just, it's just, you just blissfully unaware of anything, you're like sleepwalking through life, and you are kind of like dreaming, hallucinating, like virtual reality over life, and it's everything is like beautiful and wonderful. Maybe be daylight, and then as you become sober, you realize it's fine. It happens like quickly to sober up, and it's like it's dark, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't have any fucking money. And so of course you want to go back and do it again, but if you do too much, you will die. So they have to wait, and it is addictive, so you'll get sick. So yeah, especially been riding on it for for you can do it multiple days, but you don't want to do if you do too much, you will die. And they push the boundaries, both of them. But when they get to Argus, they come across a new drug. It's a combination of two drugs, Mornsha, Moornsha, Mornsha. and tomb, Toom, and one's an anesthetic. He labels it as a painkiller because, I mean, it's in another world, so anesthetic doesn't exactly mean the same, you know what I mean? I try to avoid too many things from here, too many words from here. You know, it's always ground, dirt, not the earth, ever, because I don't know that word. And that word earth only means this planet, so I avoided that at all, as much as I could. Well, I didn't use earth at all in there, so you know you're not there. I avoided God to avoid offending any atheists or any religion. Most religions believe in one God, and they, like I said, in the first era, they had the way they got to the first era was that there's all these different languages of all these different races, and so they came on a commonality race. I mean, commonality, a language, Unaic. It was most likened to the humans because it was the easiest one. Like the Vorgans men had forked tongues, so their language was hard, but they could force their tongue together and speak the human language, but it would sound very weird because it was like almost overextending things that they try to keep their tongue together because they're used to doing that kind of shit, you know. You know, and their words have very fucked up shit. Like, yes, we can talk like you, but it's difficult. But yeah, got rid of the whole British accent on everything, you know. It's written in more of an American feel, you know. Just that kind of, you know, how I am right now. I'm not, yeah. So yeah, when I did the audiobook, that was fucking fun as shit, man. I got to act out the parts, and then I got to put on like effects on the voice to play different characters and shit, especially in part 3. Yeah, it started. You could hear it one time, and like it doesn't happen at all in part 1, and part 2 it does happen a couple of times, but it's just to show off a little bit. And then part 3 is when I started kind of going into it, and then to keep from overusing it, I dropped off and I used it a bit in part 4, and I didn't use it much at all in part 5. So yeah, I tried not to overdo it. You know, I wanted to be seasoning in there without being like each person had their own voice. I would have loved to have done that, but again, I didn't have any people to work on it. I have a throat modeler plug-in, but that would have been hard to give each person a different voice. I gave one of them a voice, a throat, and I set it up wrong. I'm still new to the plug-in, and it's kind of scratchy. It sounded fine on my end, but when it played back, I guess the octaveness of it, because it's supposed to be a guy with a big booming voice, and I did that, and then I put the thing on there, so it made it sound like it was coming through a different, you know, set of vocal cords. And it sounded cool, but it has this little in the back. I'm like, fuck, man. It sounded so cool on my thing. It isn't possible. Oh, it's possible. But yeah, that was fun, man. It was really fun. But no, I should probably get back to playing music, huh? But I just thought it was interesting that the drug that they did, the void, that's what they call it. Because it's basically, like I said, it's an anesthetic. So you go into that black place where you go to when you get like whatever, when they're operating. You go there. But because of the hallucinogenic, you go there awake, conscious. Instead of just seeing black, you have the ability to dream. Now you're only under for like 15 minutes, but the faster your brain can think, the longer you have in there. And for a long time, they thought it's about smoking from the same bowl together to go into the same place. It's not. Each measurement of it is its own key. The void is not just one thing. It's got time and whatever. So if you do a certain amount of morning shit, a certain amount of tomb, you're going to go into the void, but it's going to be in a certain place. If you do too off of it, it's not a good enough balance. You won't go at all. It won't be bad, but it won't do what you want to do. Uh, but if you once you get into the operational function, there are different levels of keys into different things. And so like if you did if you could measure, if you knew how much they use exactly half and half, and how much, they use like 1 gram of each. You could, if you wanted to follow someone in without smoking on their shit, if they used it all up, you could, if you walked in and they're sitting there kind of stoned, like when you first start using it, you just muscles go loose and shit. But once you start learning how to do stuff, like there's a morning drink called Garin. It's like coffee. It's like a coffee tea. It's actually based off the coca plant in my mind. If they would have let the coca plant grow, and you can just snack on the leaves, or you can brew it into a tea, and it's like a coffee, a powerful coffee. Nothing like sets your heart on fire or anything like that, because it's still not cocaine or anything like that. But it's, it's like getting 3 or 4 leaves together. So just like you can chew on one leaf and be like, I'm awake for the next 2-3 hours, in this world on the Garin leaves. Or you can brew 3 in a tea, and you're ready to go for 3 hours, 3 to 6 hours. So yeah, there's a lot. I put a lot of thought into it because I was like, if I'm gonna make a fucking place to go to in my head, I want it to be detailed. I don't want to bore the people down with detail. But I want the detail to be available somewhere, because like I said, it's like DVD extra. And at the time, I hadn't figured out how to do that in a book. So I just wrote my book, and then I stored all the shit in my head. The first era, the second era, where all the razors came from. Yeah, all that shit I just stored in my head, so I can write a book later on if I want to. That kind of like the entire history of Unia. But that's kind of what the last book in the 4 core Unia tales is. It kind of wraps it up together to tell from not quite God's perspective, but deities that I imagine Unia taking place sometime after Revelation 22. So it's still under God's kingdom. He's referred to as the Maker now, because if you don't want to believe him, he doesn't care, as long as you believe that you're created and you act with decency. That's the main thing, is you do act with decency. Yeah, then he doesn't care how you do it. He doesn't do it for the praise. He really doesn't. But if he has to force you to fucking, to participate, do right, he'll give you a chance and show you what's right. And if you still say no to that, then again, the cosmic filter will filter you the fuck out, because there will be harmony. The tension in the notes of the music will resolve. They always do. It's just how you resolve. You can resolve to more tension. You can resolve to a common, a pleasant, a dissonant resolution. How do you resolve? If you resolve to a dissonant that makes you happy and turns off the crowd, you're all alone, but you got something original and new, because obviously everybody got up and walked out. They didn't understand what's going on. Doesn't mean it's bad. Just means a lot of the crowd goes, okay, this guy he had a big chance, and he blew the last note. It goes, da-na-na-na. He went, da-na-na. What is that? Fuck you. You obviously don't know how to play the guitar, right? Oh, he meant to do it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Laith Al-Said, he was a local player that my brother knew. He's not local here. He was local to Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, because he was around U of M. Very talented player. Very talented. And he came to town, to Traverse, and there's a local bar, Union Street Station, that I like that place. And he played Union Street Station, and it was like $5 cover, and there was nobody there. And so I went with my ex, my mom, and I think my uncle. There were some people there that went, but we went to go check out the playing and stuff like that. And I brought a guitar in case, I was like, and I walked, as he was playing, I was walking, I was checking it out, and he was playing a Strat, and it kind of looked like the one I had. I was like, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, that's pretty cool, man. And they're taking a break, and so it's like $5. I'm like face to face with him, like looking at his guitar and stuff, and like that's really cool, man. It's like yeah. And I was like, you mind if I show you? And he's like, no. And then because it's kind of like, okay, so I bring my guitar in. I was like, what do you think, man? He picks it up and he's kind of playing on it. It's like, yeah, this is cool, man. I was like, wait, I mean, you can change any of the stuff on there. It's like, what? I was like, you change like the wood, because that one's made of mahogany. He's like, oh yeah? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, does it play good? He's like, yeah, it plays good. I'm like, yeah, and you could just get like, P90s in there. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you can change all that stuff up, dude. It would be like nothing. I mean, I wouldn't, I mean, I could get it done. Possibly. I mean, if you wanted, like, if you endorsed it a little bit, I could possibly get it done for free, because he's really good. And he's like, yeah, I don't do endorsements and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you, man. And I was like, you're probably gonna get like a custom from like Fender and stuff like that, right? And he's like, yeah, they're talking about it. And I was like, that's cool, man. All of it. Then you don't need me at all, man. I was being sincere. And I was walking away. I was like, hey, man, thanks for playing it out. I mean, honestly, what did you think about it? He's like, yeah, they're good guitars. Like, so I wouldn't be ripping your body off selling these, because I know how I play, but this guy's like a professional. He's really a truly professional. And he's like, no. So okay, cool, man. I appreciate it. And I put the guitar away, and then like a little bit later, he's kind of like, he was asking a few questions. So you can change like the paint and shit. Like, yeah. Like if I want like a Telecaster Stratocaster, yeah. You mean like a Stratocaster with Telecaster pickups, or a Telecaster with Stratocaster pickups? And you just see his face kind of going. I mean, because we could do a whole new body if you wanted to. That incorporates the two ideas. I mean, I do, and I was telling him how I designed the Nephilim and the Concorde. Yeah, I can't do endorsements, man, because if I do this, then then there's people that do new pedals and stuff. People have selling me pedals all the time to try out and stuff. So yeah, no. And he kind of walked up. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So Fender was offering you something, you're kind of like, huh? They're saying like making your own body and shit. That's, yeah. It's like they're gonna make me my own Stratocaster model. I don't really want a Stratocaster model. I want a bit more customized than that. I really like a Strat body, with some of this with it. Hey, we could put a Telecaster body with the Strat headstock, or we can use the design for Equinox headstock. Whatever you want, man. Let me know. You got to let me know. After all I know. Well,
sunshine taken away. What could it be? Tore my heart wide open, letting out a bit more rough than gray. What can it be? Is broken, a little by the hour. What could it be? Breathless and choking, I couldn't buy my favorite cure. What could it be? Sunshine stolen. Where could it be? Rip my heart wide open, a little more than I was hoping. What could it be? We're weary,
Not so fast, mister. So, let's go over what just happened. Because that just happened. That just happened. Let's just start doing that, man. Not like, that happened, man. That just happened. He sat down. It just happened, man. It's a miracle because we're all here. It just happened, man. What just happened? He sat down. Oh, shit, really? Yeah. That just happened? Yeah. I missed it. So we had Silver Queen, followed by Thomas's Time Undone. Then What Could It Be? Then there's Brick by Brick. That one is the one that had synced the video, the reverse audio to the reverse video. That was interesting to do. That was not easy, but wasn't terribly hard, you know. I've been doing like a lot of reverse stuff for a while. Like in the 90s, I was doing it with tape because tape had the counter. I don't know if you guys even know what I'm talking about, but it had a counter for like a timer for how long it's going. And so I just zero out the counter when I was ready to punch in. And then so I'd figure out how long I had to play. It's like, and it would go like, 32 seconds, whatever it was. I figured within that I should punch out. Flip the tape over, it's playing in reverse. And then zero it out and hit play, and then start soloing in the key that's supposed to be while everything's going in reverse. You know what I mean? But I'm playing in regular speed, regular whatever, and then flip the tape over and see if it turned out all right. As it goes from zero to, whatever the other count, whatever the final count was. So, it's just about syncing everything up, So, coming up next, we got Head Down, She Said, and then Drifting Along, which I did a remix of. I want to see if that, after that, I think I might check and see if the remix is actually better, the remaster. Might as well see if I actually made an improvement. I thought it made an improvement. I really could check. I could check them out and see. I could keep talking. But it's up to you. Okay.
Come and sell me, and then you burn my Stay right by me. They say don't buy in. Shades of gray slipping, I see. I've got my own sins. Stay, don't go round. They say I've got news. Wait, wait, don't go round. Wait, wait. Someone help me, I'm just dying here. Seems to happen time to time, yeah. And if I break the chains, I'm sure you'll say I'm trying, dear. But I don't pay no mind. Don't pay no mind. Time, yeah. And if I break your chains, I guess you're lying. Fear the one who pays no mind. Don't pay no mind. Stay right by me. They say don't buy it. Shades of gray slim, I see. I've got my own sins. I've got my own sins. I've got my own sins. inside of me. When you're cool enough to call my bluff, I'm waiting here with all this guff, and I'm free. Yeah. Bring me a doctor, mom, I'm dying on this train. Leave my tracks and no take backs, or am I just insane? 'Cause I can see from here to infinity. When you're bold enough to call my bluff, I'm waiting here to face the snuff, so I'll be free. I guess it's destiny.
Yeah, how are we? How are we feeling? How are we feeling about what just happened? Because that just happened. So you probably, if you're tuning in now, you just missed out on the fierce debate of how many discos are in a biscuit. Choices were as many as needed. There's a four-way tie, so I can't say which one got the most because they all got the same. 1, 2, 3. Where my butter at? And the last choice was Everybody Dance. Now. Four-way tie, man. So, sorry you missed out on that one. We'll probably have another poll somewhere. North, south. Where's the East Pole? How come we don't ever have East Pole, huh? Why can't we have an East Pole? Seems poleless to me. Alright, so that was, let me see if there's anything else on there. I might have hit a bonus track on there. Yep, I did. An acoustic version of Better. Anybody feel like listening to a shittier version of that song? Okie dokie, Smokey. Let's do that then. It's a hidden bonus track, leave me alone.
Isn't it better just falling down? Keep it together, just long enough. Turn it all around. Why waste the to the ground. Why waste another day? Why waste these words you say? Why waste another day? Time will come. So why waste another day? Why waste these words you say? Why waste another day? Time will come. Baby, put it in my veins. Since that day I know I ain't never been the same. 'Cause you make me see a different side of me. When you're cool enough to call my bluff, I'm waiting here with all this guff, and I'm free. Doctor, mom, I'm dying on this train. Leave my tracks and no take backs, or am I just insane? 'Cause I can see from infinity. When you're bold enough to call my bluff, I'm waiting here to face the snuff. So I'll be free. Since that day I know I ain't never been the same, 'cause you're making me see a different side of me. When you're cool enough to call my bluff, I'm waiting here with all this guff, and I'm free. Doctor, mom, I'm dying on this train. Leave my tracks and no take backs, or am I just insane? 'Cause I can see from infinity. When you're bold enough to call my bluff, I'm waiting here to face the snuff, so I'll be free. It's destiny.
Drifting Along, predicated by Drifting Along. The first one was the remix that I did, and I'm going to have to listen to it out there on the big speakers to see which one turned out best. I could listen to it in the studio, but that's kind of like an ideal situation. I try to, when I do that, I try to test it out like on a good system, but something that like, you know, like a house stereo system. If I had a sound bar, I probably would switch to that because that's most likely what people have now to listen to, especially if you're watching on YouTube. I like to listen to mine on when I'm watching TV, YouTube. I like to listen to the Bluetooth, especially after like 11. You're supposed to have the hour, not the hour. You're supposed to have the volume down, and so like it's not as the bass is heavy in on my system. So that seems to be bothering people because I'm back here banging on the drums. They say they don't hear that. It's just the bass, and like, okay, so I must be cranking the radio too loud at night. So I just put in the Bluetooth and just fucking jam the fuck out in between my ears, man. It's just fucking a concert going on, you know? Listen to radio, listen to fucking Lanigan, listen to fucking multiple playlists, dude. It's fucking great. And on top of that, since I'm not tethered, just get up and fucking walk around, make something to drink, you know, but it's like always, like it's being surrounded. It's like my dream come true. It's like being surrounded by music like all the time. It doesn't quite get the full body buzz of the actual music. If it could do that, holy shit. Oh, that'd be great. I love that shit. I love the feel of fucking music. That's why I was trying to get some subs in there. I have one that's actually really kind of pushing on there because there's a lot. It's kind of like the 3D TV. I had one, But a lot of people weren't really developing for 3D because a lot of people weren't going with 3D. There was a lie that the glassless 3D was coming out because they had the ones that had the powered, and then they had the ionized. Now, had the ionized taken place, I guarantee the 4K would probably be ionized, so you could strip down to a 2K and 2K. Because then it's just the image coming out at you with the ionized image coming out, and you could have the glasses. But because everybody pretty much kind of, instead of developing 3D, we lost that. I mean, there could have been lots of different ways to do it, including there could have been get to a point where it's almost like a visor type thing, a very light thing that does, you know what I mean? It's not, you're going to watch a movie, not for a fucking fashion show, you know? So if it kind of comes down where you can't, it's very light and sits right there, but it is polarized and has like a strip right there. So your entire field of vision, I wouldn't care. I'd wear a fucking, you know, I mean, a set of glasses that had like, you know, a big field. It just comes back here beyond where you can see. Because the screen's going to be as big, you know what I mean? So you're actually immersed in it. Possibly some haptic type seats. Fuck yeah. I'd do that shit in a heartbeat. I might even get one for the house after experiencing it for a couple of times. You go back to your. That's what I did. Actually, I was at I knew I shouldn't have. I was coming in just a little bit of cash, and I stopped by Best Buy. Oh, ABC Warehouse. Sorry, ABC Warehouse. No, it was Best Buy. Best Buy is where I saw it. So I went by Best Buy, and they had a display. And I'd been seeing 3D TV and shit, and I was like, oh, I want to get one because like Crysis was coming out in 3D. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to play like video games with like bullets and shit coming out. That's going to be fucking sweet as shit. And it is. Oh, it is. I'll get to that in a second. So I'm sitting there watching they like, you want to see the demo? I'm like, yeah, I'll see the demo. And he puts it on, and I'm sitting there watching this shit. And there's like this fish swimming by, and it's got like the fish around his eyes and stuff. But it's very close to the screen, but it's coming off just a little bit. And you could see, like, you could definitely see like the 3D. It's like, okay, that is cool. That's like really like, you know, not, you know. And then it goes on, and like it's like, then this is a such and such like barracuda, whatever. And it just starts swimming from the background, and it comes off the screen. And I'm like 6 feet away from the screen. It's just coming closer to the point I'm literally like, no, you get what? Because I mean, it was taken in HD. You know, it's just a fucking great fucking shot, and this thing is just not fucking, you know, not fucking around. It looks like it's coming off the screen right at you. And I immediately just like, okay, yeah, I took them off. It wasn't 'cause I was scared. I was like, I'm gonna have you guys do credit. No. Yeah, we do credit. No. I gotta go, man. Here's your glasses. How much is... No. And I just walked out. And then when I got some cash, I was like, I'm getting fucking 3D TV. That's what the fuck I'm doing. And so I got a Mitsubishi 65. Rear projection 3D. They had like 50 or something like that on sale for like $800. They had like one last 65 in the back they wanted to get rid of, and that they were willing to sell it for the same price. So I said, put that shit in the back of my car. You put the shit in the back of my car, would you? It's the blue Caravan. Just go. And so we took it out there and put it in there. And you want to get? Yes, I want to get a fucking Blu-ray, fucking 3D Blu-ray, because I'm gonna need glasses. Yeah. So let's get the fucking whole thing. You know, I need it, so fucking, yeah. So eventually, you know, when I'm settling in on this shit, it's fucking awesome and shit. And then I get the Xbox 360, and it's outputting the 3D to the TV. So I drop in Crysis 2. Oh, it's fucking gorgeous. It looks so good. Even to this day, it still looks so good and plays so well. The movement is very well worked out. Like if you get near a ledge and you jump, it just automatically knows that you want to grab and kind of pulls you up. So there's not like any extra features. I mean, it's just very fluid, very natural. And I dig that. And I think just a simple damage avoidance would help a whole lot. And there's a natural damage. So if you go near the edge, he'll match your character kind of back away. You know what I mean? Because he's trying to avoid. If you keep pushing, eventually he's going to fall over. But he'll back up like a couple times, and like the ground can start crumbling away. Like, and you can hear like the sound of it, whatever it is, and then you fall off. So you don't just walk to the edge. Your horse also knows not to go like just walking over the edge, because it would. It's just like a natural thing. You just know not to. Every time you've been running, get to something, you're like, ha, ha, and you don't have that at all in the game. It should be a natural instinct to do, and you can adjust that. I mean, just like other skills, especially for like a thief or something like that, you could adjust. It could be one of those things that levels up. The more you use it, the more you, like if you give it, and it can have like where you pull the back on the thumbstick actually helps with it, you know, especially if you're in an unbalance. It's got like a 50-50 of going over. You actually pulling back on the thumbstick actually does help on it. Or before you've been doing it, it's because everybody. It's one of those things. That's why they included that with the PlayStation. They needed to fix it so that they had the both the shake and the ability to do that. I guarantee I could have figured something out. I haven't even thought about it, but I guarantee I could figure something out probably very quickly. More than likely, they're doing the gyroscope wrong. You know what I mean? Because the rumble pack is working. So rather than get rid of the rumble pack, which is the preferred thing, work out the gyroscope to work in a different way than what it was. So that way, it could be like almost like enlarged in a bubble underneath the thing, so that it's almost like in a protected deal. But its information comes out, but you have to imagine large. And so that way it's not really affected by the rumble pack, because it does have some kind of padding around it, but this information is sent out to let it know where. So when you do pull back on it, it can still tell that information, but the shaking just doesn't do anything to it. You just have to isolate it away from that's what they're having. They're trying to cram it inside the same thing. Just add a little extra casing to it, and that would increase costs, and they don't want to do that shit. So they just, rob you of one of the features. Corporate America give you less for more. Corporate America, they're a bunch of money-hungry whores. Yeah, I think I'm going to be done here quickly, yeah. Swiftly. 2 hours and 35 minutes, yeah, I'm done. There's something else I was going to say, but who cares? I don't know. It's been talking long enough. I need to get some food or something like that. My stomach's trying to tell me I might be a little on blood sugar or something like that, because I'm stoned as fuck, and my stomach's just kind of doing weird shit. So, that's what you do. Peace out. What show was that? Oh, Scrubs, wasn't it? Yeah. Well done. You're learning.